Welcome to the latest episode of Facts Not Included, the podcast. I'm your host, Peter Cabranes, and today's another Tangent Friday. You know what that means. And if you're new to the podcast, well, this is what it means. Tangent Friday, well, usually we do movie reviews for you guys on Mondays, and so Fridays we use as the days to randomly talk about the world of entertainment or anything in particular that is on our minds. In the past, we've done news stories about some really funny news stories about people getting arrested and stuff like that. We've talked about anything under the sun, more or less. But today we're going to be focusing on movies, as I like to do, because that's what I know. So today's episode, as you know, unless you're living under a rock this past week, as you know, the biggest news of this past weekend is, of course, Avengers Endgame. Full disclosure, I am not going to spoil the movie here at all. This is just going to be a small discussion about, the news that is coming out after the movie. But again, non-spoilers. I'm not going to discuss anything that occurs in the movie or anything that Marvel's kind of been doing post Avengers Endgame in regards to the film. I will say that they've told all of the fans to not spoil the film, and yet they're kind of doing that on their Instagram accounts, and even more so probably on TV spots. So be very careful. There's some things that they're showing in these TV spots that I wouldn't say give away the film, but if you're if you're a follower of this stuff and haven't seen the movie yet, you're going to be a bit disappointed knowing that you saw it in the trailer or these TV spots. You didn't see it in the trailers. That you're seeing in the TV spots rather than experiencing the whole thing while in your seat at the theater. So be very careful, especially that we're going into the second weekend. A lot of people don't care anymore about spoilers in regards to keeping them a secret. So be very, very careful. If you want to hear our thoughts on the spoilers and of the film as a whole, definitely check out our podcast episode where we did that. Just go on factsnotincluded.com/podcast, and you'll definitely check out the episode there. Shout out to all of you that have actually checked out factsnotincluded.com. It's something I want to say really quickly here. Remember, factsnotincluded.com was created and is for entertainment fans, for film fans, for music fans, for literature fans, fans with the podcast, to go on there on factsnotincluded.com/forum, FORUM, and have a discussion about anything that's on their mind, whether it's Endgame, whether it's a movie that's coming out, whether it's a book they've read, whether it's a movie they've seen, whether it's a new song that they like. Let's have a discussion there. Let's open the floodgates of discussion there, and then the really cool thing is that we're going to likely talk about those discussions on the podcast, and you'll have a chance to have your moment on the podcast. And that'll be really exciting, I think, in my opinion, those would be pretty exciting moments for each and every one of us to have our own little spotlight in the podcast. And that's why factsnotincluded.com was created. Again, continue to check out factsnotincluded.com. Coming out this Saturday, tomorrow, we're going to be having a really cool article being released on May 4th in regards to Mr. A.D. Greer's review and take on the latest Justice League movie, Justice League versus the Fab Five. His take on it, whether or not he liked it or not, is up to you to figure out while reading this article. I think it's pretty clear to say his views on it once you read the title, I think. But look forward to that on Saturday. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're really excited for this article. I read it. I think it's really fascinating, and it's a really good insight as to what that show movie meant to Mr. Greer, and more or less how it. Well, I'll let you read it. I don't want to give it away, but anyway, let's go back to Avengers: Infinity War. Endgame. I think Endgame, as you know, is clearly crushing numbers at the box office. I think this is a movie that has, and I think a lot of people are talking about it, it has a clear path right now to destroy Avatar. Whether or not that path will then get riddled with obstacles, who knows? I don't think there's anything big coming out. Let's see, movie. let's see. I don't think there's anything coming out in May that's going to stop it. I mean, we got this weekend, we got Long Shot, Ugly Dolls, which who cares, to be honest, about Ugly Dolls. I definitely want to see Long Shot. Long Shot has a long shot of dethroning Endgame. Watch it do it, and then we all just sit back in shock. Tolkien's coming out. Detective Pikachu is probably the closest that could do that, because it'll be in its third weekend. We'll see. After that, John Wick is, I guess, possible as well. It'll be its fourth weekend. It's very unlikely that Endgame will be making over 70 by its fourth weekend. If it's making anywhere near 70, that's going to be pretty sexy, but I don't think it's going to be making a lot of money. John Wick's... I don't know John Wick's history at the box office opening weekend. I do believe that John Wick Chapter 3 is going to make a decent amount of money, where it's possible it could dethrone Avengers Endgame. And then, of course, we have Aladdin. Aladdin is probably Endgame's most feared competitor, being that it is a Disney film, being that it is Aladdin, and so far the trailers have gotten, the TV spots have gotten a lot better than that first look we got of the genie. And everything that came out of CinemaCon, everybody seems pretty excited for Aladdin. And Aladdin might be another one of those billion-dollar films. Will it make $1 billion its first weekend worldwide? Obviously not. It's not going to be an Endgame situation. But Aladdin's going to probably make in total over $1 billion. I think it has a strong chance of dethroning Endgame. Like I said, I don't think the other films will do that. I think it's going to be Aladdin. Endgame, again, not going into spoilers. I just want to say this, and I know I've said it on my Facebook page, and I think I said it on my Twitter. I just want to thank Kevin Feige and everyone at Marvel for what you've done. When I was a kid in the late 90s, early 2000s, I didn't... you don't understand what you're being given. We got Blade, we got Spider-Man, we got the X-Men. And that was great. Spider-Man was my favorite. Blade, I was too young to watch, I think. My dad had the movies. We had Blade 2 and 3, and I think my dad watched them, but I couldn't. I don't think I was allowed to. I don't know. Anyway, but Spider-Man, 2002 Spider-Man, I was blown away. We were all blown away. I knew Spider-Man from the PlayStation 1 game and from a few comics, but I didn't understand what any of that meant. So, in regards to who the character was, I didn't understand any of that stuff. So, then we got X-Men before Spider-Man, of course. And again, I knew X-Men from the video game and the TV cartoon animated series that I was being able to watch. I had the privilege, as you could say, of watching that. But that's what we got. That's all we knew. And then all of a sudden, we got the Superman movie, 2006. But we get, and then Daredevil 2 and Elektra. But I'm not talking about those because I don't care about those movies. I'm talking about the ones that meant something to me. But then all of a sudden in 2008, when I was roughly about 13 years old, we got something that I didn't understand. And it's funny because I think, let me do quick research. I think I did this instead of watching Iron Man, and you're going to laugh. You're going to laugh. So Iron Man came out in 2008, but it came out in May. Okay, so it came out in May. I didn't go see Iron Man right away because I didn't know what an Iron Man was as a kid. At 2008, I didn't know what Iron Man was really. I've heard of him. I never read a comic. I never really cared for him in any of the cartoons. I just didn't really know who he was, and I thought on paper he looked a bit dull and boring, right? And so who I knew and who I loved was Hulk. The 2003 movie for me was whatever, but I liked the video game a lot, and so I got my tickets to go see Hulk in 2008 instead. and I absolutely fell over the floor for it. I loved that Hulk movie in 2008, and until this day, it sucks that Disney doesn't have the full rights to Hulk, and so that's why there's never been um, a Hulk movie since. You know, when Disney took over in 2012, I want to say 2011, 2012, whenever they bought Marvel, they realized, well, there's no reason to make these movies because we're not going to make money off of it. Then that's how Disney runs their company, and I understand that. It's fine. But we've never had a Mark Ruffalo Incredible Hulk. And more or less, this movie has been brushed to the side in a sense in regards to the fact that Ruffalo's not in it, so they're kind of like, well, it never really happened, but it did. I mean, they play on the fact of some moments in it, and some people are in that movie that return. But anyway, I didn't go see Iron Man right away. When I finally got to see Iron Man, I think is when it came out on Blu-ray or DVD, whatever it was at the time. I forgot when Blu-ray started. I got to see Iron Man, and again, you don't... For those that have never seen Iron Man, I envy you, because I want that moment again of watching it for the first time. I want that moment again where I could just go, oh, this is golden. This is where it all began. And it's funny because that end credit scene in the Hulk where Iron Man shows up, I didn't understand that in regards to who Iron Man was, who Tony Stark was, until, I saw Iron Man. And I realized, oh, this is what they're trying to do here. So, anyway, I just wanted to talk about what the MCU meant to me, because they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't really know what they were doing in the set, and we've seen that. The first few movies, there's been things that they've mentioned, and they've kind of more or less, I suppose, retconned or have ignored people or moments. But it's almost perfect to the point where there's no way they were going to fail going forward. But at the moment in living in it, oh yeah, people were scared. People didn't know, can they pull this off? What are they even trying to accomplish? And then all of a sudden in 2012, after we got a few movies, of course, we see what they were trying to accomplish. They were making an Avengers movie, which to me, it's been a few years since I've seen it. It's been about 2 years since I've seen it. Is probably the greatest comic book movie of all time. Minus, maybe, Avengers Endgame now. Or for some people, maybe minus Infinity War. Or Winter Soldier, or Civil War, or Logan, or The Dark Knight, or whatever it is for people. But Avengers, for me, the first one, 2012, the Avengers, or as it's called in Europe, Avengers Assemble. Pretty awesome name, if you know what I mean. For me, Avengers is, again, the cream of the crop. It's up there with Man of Steel, with Logan, with maybe even Endgame now. For someone as young as I am, I didn't have the idea of, like, I'll never see an Avengers movie. Because that was never really something that was on my mind to begin with. But for people that I know from my local comic book shop, and for people that I know that are much older than me, that I'm friends with and stuff, and they've been comic book nerds and fans and whatever since the beginning of time, more or less, or since the inception of certain characters or certain groups or whatever. Never would they have imagined seeing an Avengers film, because how would that be able to be how would you accomplish such a feat? How could you do such a thing? Who would also be involved? Or do you have the original Avengers? Do you have only certain members and you put in some placements? What goes on in regards to figuring out who fits your mold? And they knock it out of the park, obviously, with Avengers. And then clearly getting better and better as the years go on. So I just want to thank Kevin Feige. I just want to thank everyone at Marvel, everyone at Disney, the Russo brothers, Jon Favreau, James Gunn, everyone that has made Taika Waititi, everyone that has touched the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Joss Whedon, let's not forget about Joss Whedon. Without him, Avengers 2012 is probably not the movie that we love so much. Joss Whedon, thank you so much for doing what you did and setting up what you did. And yes, you got a lot of flack for Ultron, but hey, I don't know if that was your fault, to be honest. I don't know if that was your fault. And I don't think Ultron's terrible. It's funny, when I got out of the theater for Avengers Age of Ultron, I literally left that movie and was like, oh my god, it's better than Avengers. Clearly not true. But it's not that bad. It's not bad. You could watch it. It's a fun movie. Yes, I wish different things happened in it. I wish Ultron lived and killed more. Whatever it may be. But, hey, it is what it is. But thank you guys so much for being the creative geniuses behind this. Behind the Marvel Studios, behind the MCU. So thank you. Thank you very much. And to many more years. See where the MCU goes from here. Another thing I want to talk about is that Mike Antonio and I, are going to be attending the Hudson Valley Comic-Con on May 11th and 12th in Poughkeepsie, New York, as I like to say it like that. I don't know why. I've never been there. Part of the reason we're going to the con is because we've talked about going to Poughkeepsie for a while. Let's hang out and check out the town. And it's just something we've never been able to do. And then I was just randomly looking up online, local Comic-Cons in New York, New Jersey, or whatever. And I stumbled across the Hudson Valley Comic-Con. And you guys look like you have a lot of fun there. For anyone that's listening that has attended in the past, I think it's going into its 4th year. Wow, it looks like you're having a lot of fun. And I've never really experienced a con outside New York Comic Con or outside anything massive like that. I haven't experienced a comic convention outside of New York City Comic Con. I've been to conventions that are non-comic related that have been smaller, but this would be the first comic related convention on this small scale, which those excite me because that's where a lot of first of all, that's kind of how San Diego Comic-Con started, I think, or at least New York Comic-Con started like that. I know that for sure. Very small, and it made its way into the giant juggernaut that it is today. So I like that. I like seeing that. We're gonna have a lot of fun there. If you know who we are and you want to meet up, we'll talk about that. But we're looking to have a lot of fun there. We're going to record some stuff there for you, and we're going to probably even record an episode while we're up in Poughkeepsie. Maybe not. And if we do, it's probably going to be on video. We'll figure that out, because we kind of have this new cool thing going on. We'll talk about details, or we'll let you know after the fact. If you don't see it, you don't see it type of thing. But we're really excited. We're going to get to meet some really cool comic people, and people that are just not in comics at all, but some of them are comics, if you know what I mean, comedians. Mr. Gilbert Gottfried is supposed to be attending this, and he's supposed to be there on one of the days, and I'm really excited, because if I get to meet him, I'm going to tell him how much I love his podcast. He has a great podcast. If you're a film buff and film nerd, you're going to love his podcast. But anyway, that's that. Next weekend, Poughkeepsie, gonna be pretty cool. I don't know what to expect while I'm there, other than just buying a lot of nonsense. That's really what I do when I go to conventions, comic conventions in particular. I just buy a lot of crap. And I don't want to call it crap because it's not crap. It's stuff that I love and whatever, but I buy a lot of stuff. I just do, and I can't control it. Mainly comics, some that I'll never read, and some that I will read. But I just buy them because they're either cheap or it's the one that I've always wanted. Now, I've never spent, let's be honest, the most I've ever spent on a comic, and this is including compendiums and stuff, big ones, it's probably $40. So I don't go crazy on spending money on comics. I don't go anywhere past that, or at least I've never have, because I have never really seen anything that I want that has that value to me to want to have to spend over $100 for it. So unless they have something here that really tickles my fancy, unless they do, and that's gonna be really interesting. But yeah, so we're gonna be in Hudson Valley Comic Con May 11th and 12th. I hope you guys, if you're listening and you live in the Hudson Valley area, that'd be really cool. We're gonna be there. So yeah, so the next story that we're gonna talk about, the Sonic trailer. This looks bad. So if you haven't already, please do so. Pause for a second and watch the Sonic trailer. If anything, I'm thinking of playing it right here. I'm going to do that, actually. So give me a few seconds while I look up the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. I just want to say this off the bat. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, you're going to be pretty disappointed once you do see it. So, whatever. It's not that good. Anyway, let's check out the trailer in 3, 2, 1.
What the? Gotta go fast.
Minutes ago, an energy surge knocked out power across the entire Pacific Northwest. This needs someone who can figure out exactly what we're dealing with.
You're not suggesting who I think you're suggesting.
We have no choice.
What the? Are you in charge here?
Yes, I am.
Nope! Wrong. I'm in charge.
Allow me to clarify.
In a sequentially ranked hierarchy based on level of critical importance, the disparity between us is too vast to quantify. Agent Stone?
The doctor thinks you're basic.
Listen, pal, I don't know if you realize
I'm sorry, Major. What was your name?
Benning.
Nobody cares. SFPD.
Meow? Oh, come on.
Okay, pal, I want answers.
Basically, it looks like I'm gonna have to save your planet.
Oh, is that all you got?
No, but thank you for asking.
Uh-oh.
Whatever this creature is, our job is to secure it, neutralize it, see what makes it tick.
Look at this! I took 9 million steps today.
Stay in there and be quiet.
How much longer? I can't breathe in here.
Do you have your child in that bag?
No. I mean, yes, it's a child, but it's not mine.
It's not your child.
Smells like body spray in an old ham sandwich.
Okay, so what did you think? Guess what my thoughts are. What were you thinking? He doesn't look like what I would have thought Sonic would have looked like if he was in the real world. One, he's a bit creepy. Like Pikachu in Detective Pikachu looks like what Pikachu would have looked like, I think, if he was in the real world. Sonic, there's something about it that just looks a little bit off. Maybe I'll open to it. I think I might be at the moment opening to it a little bit. My two big weird points are, how is Eggman, which clearly he's not Eggman now. He's Robotnik. He's not being called Eggman. He's Dr. Robotnik now. Why is he not fat and chunky and skinny in the legs? Like, why doesn't he look like that? Clearly, at the end of the trailer, we see the almost the classic look of the mustache and the bald head. But I want him to be fat and skinny legs. I want that look. That threw me out. That threw me off a bit. I wanted to see that look. That is a very iconic look. And the other thing is, you know me, when it comes to trailers, you got to really grab me in. Gangster's Paradise, really, for this trailer? I didn't understand the choice. Maybe if someone in the comments or on the forum could tell me why they think Gangster's Paradise is a good choice for music here in Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't... Is it because they are living in a gangster's paradise? Like, is Eggman considered a gangster? Like, what? What? Why? It's a great song. Don't get me wrong. It's a great song, obviously sampled by the great Stevie Wonder, who created the original sound of that song. But why? Why that song? It's weird, you know? Yeah. So anyway, also, just in case you're probably like, with Stevie Wonder, what are you talking about? He didn't make Gangster's Paradise. He made Pastime Paradise, that's the same theme and beat, and that's where Coolio got it from to do Gangster's Paradise. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog does not look like a fun movie to me at the moment. The trailer did not hook me. I will say, though, there's been millions of trailers in my life that have done the same thing, and I go see the movie, and the movie's a golden masterpiece. Or it's really good, at least. It's a really good movie. So obviously Sonic doesn't need to be 10 out of 10. I'm just saying, like, as of right now, I think if I was to see the movie, based off of this trailer, like if the whole movie was this trailer, it's a terrible trailer. If the movie surprises me, and whoever put this trailer together is not the most intelligent person in the world, then whatever, you're gonna surprise me. But anyway, this trailer didn't work. Didn't work for me. Again, watch the movie surprise me. Watch it be the greatest, video game movie of all time. I'm going to say this. I'm familiar with Sonic in the sense of the video games. I don't know Sonic in regards to the comics. I don't know Sonic in regards to TV shows or whatever there may have been of him. All I really know Sonic from is from the Sonic video games, basically obviously the original Sega one, up until more or less the last few years, but more so, what was it, Battle? Sonic the Hedgehog Battle 2 and 1? I forgot, with Shadow and stuff. Those movies. Games, sorry. Sonic Adventure Battle 1 and 2, those are great games. That's really where I know Sonic from, those games and the original ones. So I don't know too much. Listen, I was expecting more of a boy, like a teenage boy sounding Sonic. I don't know if I'm really down to having who's the voice? I didn't dig Ben Schwartz. Who are you again? I forget who that guy is. I'm sorry. DuckTales. He's from House of Lies and DuckTales. I don't know. I really have to. I really want them to make this movie good. I don't know if it's not going to be. I don't know if it is. I just don't like it right now. Ben Schwartz, the voice is okay, I guess. I don't know. I'm probably looking too much into it, and I'm complaining about nothing, really. But yeah, anyway, that's me. That's Sonic. As always, every episode I hit my mic. It's not a Facts Not Included episode if I do not hit my mic. Anyway, I think that's the talk for today. That's our Tangent Friday. Thank you again so much for checking out factsnotincluded.com. Please continue to do so. Join us in the forums over there. Join us on the movie discussions on the forums as well. The music discussions, book, literature, whatever. Talk. Have a discussion with your fellow fans of entertainment. That is what factsnotincluded.com is all about. Also, the merch store, a little bit about that. It's currently not up right now. We got to fix it. We kind of hit into a little glitch there. But if you are looking for Facts Not Included merch, please just hold off for a second. It will be going up very soon again. I apologize for that. But yeah, continue to check out factsnotincluded.com. All of our Twitter and Facebook accounts, which are, I don't want to say all of them. There's only one each. Also, don't forget, if you don't like just listening to the podcast, but you want to see something, check us out on YouTube. Facts Not Included on YouTube, and definitely check us out there. Thank you so much for checking us out. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.